Hello everybody, and welcome to the next part in our series where we're creating an avalanche game. And in this part, we're going to be not creating any new things, but we're going to definitely improve systems that we've already made. Mainly our snowball system. So we're going to improve our snowball system in two ways. One, we're going to add a bit more variety to the game and make snowballs bigger and smaller, much more random. So they can either be huge or they can be tiny, or they can be in the middle. So that's the first thing that we're going to add. And the second thing is we're going to make the game get a bit harder as you play. We're going to make it so that every time you get a point, the balls start dropping start dropping a little bit faster, such that eventually there will be in so many balls it will be impossible to get across. But at the beginning it'll be pretty easy. And then, oh yeah, there's also one other thing I want to add, where we're going to make it so that when you die, you lose a point. So, yeah. Now, let's get started. To start off, we're going to improve randomization and make things more random. So for that, we're going to open up our script where we're creating. This script that we're opening up looks like this. It is the one where it's the one that is in server script service, is one of those two, and it has while true do, wait one, and this stuff. So we're going to make room for ourselves right here. I'm going to hit a few enters. And we're going to do snowball clone dot size equals, and then equals, yeah. But before that, we're going to make more room, and then do local size equals math dot random, which creates a random number, in parentheses, and then I'm going to say the smallest I want the ball to be is 4, and the largest I want it to be is 12. So that's pretty much the first number is the smallest, the second number is the biggest. They can spawn as 4 and as 12. It is inclusive. So now we're going to do snowball.size equals vector3 dot new, which creates a new set of 3 numbers, which is how you do, of course, positions like we did here, and also sizes. Next, we're going to put size, comma, size, comma, size. That means that every dimension of the sphere will be whatever we got here. So it will be the size random 4 to 12. Unfortunately, you can't just set the size or the diameter of the ball to be random 4 to 12. You actually have to do it like this, but it's not too big of a deal. So now, if we were to go and load the game, wait a bit for loading, you'll see that we have some smaller balls and some really big balls, which is pretty nice. I think it's cool. If you think that, say, some of these are spawning way too big, then you can easily just go into the same script and adjust it. Say, I think it's too big, so I'm going to go down to 10. So yeah, adjust it to however you want. I think that should be good. And now we're going to work on making balls spawn faster, which also happens in this script. So what we're going to do is, so this is going to be a bit harder, because what we're going to do is we're going to find the average of the players' points, the average of all of the players in the game's points, and that'll be like the server points, if you know what I mean. So we're going to put weight, and then we're going to put right here some stuff. So 4, and then I comma player in I pairs, parentheses, game dot players dot get players. So what this does is So what this does is this creates a loop. We've done 4 loops before, but we haven't done any of these loops in our series. And what this is this is a for loop, except instead of repeating the same thing a number of times like other ones, this is a bit different. What this does is that it will run this code that is inside of here once for every player that is in the game. And then this is sort of a parameter, and it is what player that we're running it for. So this will go through every player in the game. Next we're going to do, before this we put local total equals total equals 0. And then we're just going to put total equals total plus player dot leader stats dot whatever you put as the name. I put points, so points, and then dot value. So now every time it will run through and find the sum of every player's points, which is going to be important for getting the average. And then we can do local average equals total divided by, and we're also going to have to make another one, which is local number of players equals 0. Because believe it or not, I have not found any variable that tells us how many players there are in the game. So we can just do this, and then number of players equals number of players plus 1. And then right here, if you know how to get the average of something, you just do the total divided by the number of players, and this will give us the average of how many points each player has. So now that we have the average, we can actually choose how often we want balls to appear. So say at the beginning, I want one ball to appear every 5 seconds. And then we're going to put divided by average. So pretty much an average, another important thing, is you do average plus 1. So there's other ways that you can choose how fast balls will spawn. But pretty much the reason I put 5 divided by average plus 1 is because that means at the beginning there'll be 5 seconds is how long it will take to spawn one. And then the next time someone gets a point, or the next time the average of every player in the game goes up by 1, it'll turn into 2.5, and it'll just go down. So it gets harder as the server goes on. And then you can also see I put average plus 1. This is because if you were to just have average, that means that at the beginning, when the first player joins the server, the average would be 0, meaning that it would wait for infinite time, which we don't really want. So I put average plus 1, that way at the beginning 5 divided by 1 is 5, which means it will wait 5 seconds. So now we've done that, which should actually be everything. Oh, we got an error. Expected colon, not a dot. Yes, I forgot to put a dot. I forgot to put a colon. Whenever you're doing a function, whenever you're calling a function, always remember that you're doing a colon, not a dot. But now, we haven't gotten any errors yet. So you can see, okay, that now we have one coming very rarely. And then if I hit the edge, oh, that was weird. I'll fix that soon. I'll fix that. I know it's causing me to like glitch out when I teleport. But you can see how they're actually spawning faster. Because before they're spawning once every 5 seconds. And they're spawning once every 2.5 seconds, which is what we want. That tells us that we're doing it correctly. So it would be nice if I could get to the end. And if I hit this again, it should spawn faster now. And you can see it is spawning faster now, which is what we want. We want it to spawn faster as the player hits it more times. Now it's spawning even faster. So that tells us that it worked. Okay. Now, there's one thing that you noticed. I glitched like a bunch. That was because I forgot to make this can collide off. So I was like touching this and then I was inside of it. I kept on like glitching around. So make sure that your can collide for that is off. It probably is. So now we've done that, and there's one more thing that we want to do, which is to make it so that when we hit a snowball, we lose a point when we die from it. So for that, you're going to want to find this script right here. The script that looks like this, which will be inside of your snowball. Right inside. So if you found that, you want to make room right here at this part where it says part.parent.humanoid.health equals 0. So now that we've gotten that, we're going to do points equals game.players find first child, and then we're gonna, local points. Find first child, and then we're going to do parts.parent.name, and then .points, or .leader stats, .points, like that. So what this does is it pretty much finds the player's points, which is more of a process than it should be, because we have to go into the game and then find the players tab, which is in here, and then we're going to have to find the actual player, because there's a difference between a character and a player. A character is like the physical character of a player, and then the player is where the more important stuff is stored, like their data and things like that. So pretty much we need to go into their player, not their character. But what we have here is their character. It's apart from their character. So we define the player, which is what this entire part is for. And we go into leader stats and then points. And we're just going to do points dot value equals points dot value minus 1. Or we actually want to do a bit more than that. We're going to actually do an if points dot value is greater than 1 or greater than 0, then end. So pretty much what this if loop does is it checks if the amount of points that the player has is more than 0, so if it's 1 or more. And then this just changes the points of the player by -1, so it subtracts 1. And the reason why we need this if is because we don't want the player's points to go negative, or again, in here, the script will mess up and then you'll have an infinite waiting time between snowballs, which we don't want. And also, if you have multiple players in a server, then one player could just keep on dying to make sure that like everyone else, one player could just keep on dying and go negative, so that the average of all of the players' snowballs goes down negative. So now that we've done that, we should be finished with the game. So once we let it load, it'll take a bit. Now we can go in. You can see they're taking 5 seconds now. But if I were to try and get a snowball to hit me, you can see how I don't lose a point. However, if we were to try doing this, except if we were to hit the button, so let's hope that a snowball doesn't drop on our head. Once we hit this, we have 1 point, and then if we get killed, we lose that 1 point. That was weird. We teleported out of the map. But that's probably a Roblox bug, not a bug with the game, because that has never happened before. So, yeah, that's what we said we were going to do in this video. And yeah, that's it. So, bye. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.